Hey everyone! In this video, we'll walk you through the new editorial checklist in Multicollab 5.0, your new tool to prevent publishing mistakes inside WordPress. Tired of missing alt text or forgetting internal links before publishing? The editorial checklist helps your team track every required task, all without leaving the WordPress editor. To get started, go to Multicollab and then click on the Editorial Checklist menu here. So, here's the new section you will find as the Editorial Checklist. Let's see a quick overview of what you're seeing here. This section comes with some predefined default checklist points, as you can see listed here. You can even create a custom checklist by clicking on this Add Custom Checklist button here. Now, if you look on the left side, you can filter the checklist points based on their status, or you can filter by default or custom checklist types here. If you want to perform some bulk actions like enabling, disabling, or even deleting checklist points, you can do it by selecting them here. And if you want to search for a specific checklist point, you can search here and it will list out the matching points, for example, alt text. And you'll see the checklist points appear. If you want to filter by checklist type, like default checklist points or custom ones, you can select it here. This is how the filtering option works. Now let's see some other checklist point options here. The first option you'll find is that you can enable or disable a checklist point for specific post types by clicking on this option. You can also select who can approve this particular checklist point. You can choose the user role from the drop-down list here, such as editor or author role. In some checklist points, you will find minimum and maximum range settings. For example, if you want to set a proper SEO title length, then you can define the title length, like the title should be a minimum of 30 characters and a maximum of 100 characters. And if you want to enable or disable any particular checklist point, you can toggle it on or off using this toggle option here. So I hope this gives you a clear overview of the checklist point dashboard. Now let's see the editorial checklist in action on a live post. To view the checklist points, you can go to the top right sidebar. Here, you will find the Multicollab icon. You can click on that, and here you'll see the Editorial Checklist Points tab. Click on it to view all the checklist points listed here along with a progress bar. This progress bar will be dynamically updated as we complete the checklist points one by one. As you can see, one of the checklist points is alt text for all images. So there's an image we added without alt text. Let me now select another image that already has alt text. You can see that the checklist point is automatically updated and the progress bar percentage has increased. Let's take another example. We must add a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 100 internal links in the blog post. So let me select one internal link. For example, I'm selecting this one. Now, if you check the checklist point, you'll see that the internal link checklist point is also marked as completed and the percentage increased accordingly. This is how the checklist points work during the content editing process. Now let me show you another important example. As you can see, this post should be approved by someone with the editor role. Currently, I'm logged in as an administrator, so I cannot mark this checklist point as completed. To make it work, I need to switch to a user with the editor role. Only an editor can mark this checklist point as completed. Let's do that. We are now in the Users section, where we have 4 users with the editor role. Let's switch to one of them. Okay, we are now logged in as an editor user. You can see here we are logged in as Clark, who is an editor. Now, on our post, the checklist point that requires editor approval is available to mark as complete. Since I am currently logged in as an editor, I can now mark this checklist point as completed and save the changes. So, this is how you can ensure that only permitted users can complete specific checklist points. Now let's see some other important features of this editorial checklist. As you can see in the sidebar, there are still some checklist points pending to be marked as completed. And you can also see the progress bar here. So let's say if I try to publish this post without completing all the checklist points, currently I can do that. As you can see, the user can click on the Publish button and publish the post even if all checklist points are not completed. But what if you want to ensure that users cannot publish any page or post without completing all checklist points? You can do that. Let me show you how. Go to the Editorial Checklist settings page and then navigate to Multicollab. Then go to the Modules section. Here you will find the Editorial Checklist module. Click on the Settings button here. Now, on the Settings page, you will see the Editorial Checklist tab. There's a feature called Prevent Publishing with Incomplete Checklist Points. Simply toggle this option on and save the settings. Now let's go back to our post. Okay, now we are back on the post. Let's try to publish the post again. As you can see, some checklist points are still pending. And now, the Publish button is disabled. The user cannot publish the post until all checklist points are completed. This is how you can prevent users from publishing a post or page without completing the editorial checklist. Now, we are back to the Multicollab editorial checklist settings. Here you might notice another feature: Enable editorial checklist for posts or pages. You can toggle this on and then select whether you want to enable the checklist for posts, pages, or even specific custom post types. For example, if you want to enable the editorial checklist only for pages and not for posts, you can select the Pages option here. You can even enable it for any available custom post types from the drop-down list. Once selected, save the settings. Now, let's check whether it works. If I go to the Post section, you'll see that the checklist points are not visible, as expected. But if I go to the Pages, you'll see that all the checklist points are visible here. This is how you can enable or disable checklist points for specific post types, like posts, pages, or any custom post type. That's all about the editorial checklist section configuration and how it works. It helps your content team work smarter, stay on brand, and catch issues before they go live. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, give us a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more WordPress publishing tips.